For this week's article, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do a match analysis of a match that I had before, and I'm going to do a highlight of the match and then try to explain some of the things that I'm doing and why I'm doing that. And then in the article on exactbjjonline.com, I will link all of the techniques and explanations as to what's going on in the match. The reason why I want to do this is because I've been playing a lot of chess online and I can't really wrap my head around it, because a lot of the time when I watch people on YouTube say play chess and the moves I see them do, I don't understand why they're doing it. So I think that to translate that over to jiu-jitsu and have a breakdown of what the techniques are that are happening in a match and why they're being done at a specific time is useful. I come up on top here. Straight away, when I'm up on top, I'm trying to move from side to side. When you move from side to side in passing, it's much harder for your opponent on bottom to figure out which direction you're going to settle in, and it's hard to decide on a sweep. Usually when you sweep someone, you have to know which way their weight is going to move to knock them over, whereas when they move side to side, it's much harder. As they begin to defend, it gives me an opportunity to go toreando, and when I'm toreandoing, I'm trying to connect to a pressure position here. So I connect straight into the smash pass here, and then with a little bit of control, I start to pass to the side control, holding the person down with a strong belt crossface so they can't turn back in as I begin to work towards the mount. With the passing on the outside, as you start to run, if you can force your opponent to defend, the number of options you have to pass with opens up a lot. So when you're trying to pass someone's guard and you're moving from side to side, forcing them to be only able to think about moves to defend with, that allows you to open up many more opportunities for potential passes. After I secure the side control here, I'm trying to mount. My opponent starts to move and I'm trying to follow onto the back, grabbing a seat belt with a berimbolo type back take. Usually in a guard roll like that, you can chase the back in the scramble, and if you're more experienced than your opponent, a lot of the time you'll get the back. But as you can see here, he's clever, he puts his back onto the mat, and I start to have to hold the half guard position in kind of a 3/4 mount like this. Again, if you can see, my right arm is making a belt crossface to stop the person from being able to lift me up, and my head is down, forcing their head to face away so they can't turn back in. The person on bottom here wants to turn back in to try and face towards me and push me away, so me using my head to keep their chin turned makes it much harder for them to be able to move at all. Patience in these positions for pressure passing is essential because it lets you tire your opponent out and wear them down until eventually you can get your foot free. Eventually he does recover the guard here and starts to work into a single leg X position as my gi is falling off. So my next move is to try and bring the head back down and pressure again through a kind of a butterfly guard position like this, connecting from side to side as well. I'm a little bit loose here and he ends up attacking a matrix position. I believe he was intending to try and footlock me, but because my hips are free, I'm not in huge danger of being able to be footlocked, and my hips are on the mat, so I'm not too concerned about being brought into a berimbolo position and having my back taken. We end up in a 50-50 type position like this as he tries to attack my foot and actually manages to sweep me with it. From here I move straight into a De La Riva footlock, trying to force my opponent to have to sit back down, not being able to connect any passes, not being able to run free, and then invert towards the berimbolo like this. As I'm inverting upside down, he does a good job of squaring back up to defend. And from here I try to establish grips to play guard with, moving back into a De La Riva position like this. I think the score at this stage is somewhere in the region of 7-2 maybe. So I'm not super concerned about trying to score again. In a tournament of multiple matches, how you pace the matches matter. So if you imagine you have two competitors going against each other on opposite sides of the bracket, the first competitor taps the guy really quick, he tries really hard, taps him. The next match, maybe he tries as hard to tap him but doesn't get there, expends a lot of energy and goes again, and then the third match he is absolutely wrecked, whereas the other guy on the other side of the bracket is gently pacing his matches. When they get to the final, one person is going to have way more energy and ability to actually leave it all on the mat, as opposed to someone who's just going nuts all the time. From here, I do a collar drag into arm drag, kind of collar and arm drag together as he sits back, coming up on top, trying to control the hips straight away. One of the benefits of sweeping someone when you're close to them is that as you come up on top, they're not voluntarily giving up the sweep, so they don't have an opportunity to set up a position that they can control. So usually if you're smart about it, you can connect straight into a position to start to pass from. And from here I pass all the way into the mount. As I'm in the mount here trying to attack the armbar, I get a little bit impatient trying to catch the arm. And as I go to slide my knee up, I leave a little bit too much space for him to be able to pull his arm free. Slowly crawling my knee up, trying to get into the S-mount, but I'm a little bit too impatient. He gets his elbow free, starts to move. There's a small scramble. He gets out of the mount. When we reset here, I know he's probably going to try to pull, so I go for a foot sweep. Eventually he pulls, break the collar grip, try to move into a headquarters position to start to set up some passing as I attempt a knee slide, but don't manage to finish, and he goes into like a donkey guard position like this. At this moment, I'm just trying to maintain control of his upper body, but he manages to knock me over and starts to attack the foot. Again, I know that there's no control on my hip, so I'm not in huge danger of a foot lock. It may be a little bit painful at some stage, but I don't believe that I'm going to have anything broken from it until eventually we can get free, and I lazily sit back down. From here, I know he's attacking side to side. There's 10 seconds left in the match. Boom, straight arm lock attempt into armbar from knee shield. Roll the guy over, grip break, straighten the arm out, and finish.